Good afternoon, everybody. Suzanne Dibble here, data protection law expert, and I'm really sorry that I'm late. I completely forgot about it. Completely forgot that I'd promised to do a Facebook Live at 1 o'clock on Mondays for people who've bought the pack. So here we are. Welcome if you're joining me live. Sorry we're a bit late, just saying totally forgot about it. So clearly I'm going to have to not just try and rely on my memory and put it in my diary. Probably be a good idea, wouldn't it? So this Facebook Live is for people who have bought the pack. It's for questions that you have on the implementation of those documents and any general questions that you have as well. But this is the one if you've bought the pack. If you haven't yet bought the pack, then why on earth not? But seriously, if you haven't yet bought it and you have questions, then I'll answer them anyway, and we do that on a Friday. But this is for people who bought the pack and have are still working through it and have questions on it. And also, of course, going forwards, if you have subject access requests or any other, data subjects exercising their rights, then I'm here for guidance on that too. So, Bent says, hi, my hero. That's hilarious. Thank you, Bent. I'm toying with the idea of a new brand, and I was thinking of GDPR heroes. So there you go. So thanks for that, Bent. You've put some more credence to that. Okay, so any questions, guys? I can't see. Hello, Carrie. Nice to see you there. I'll wave at you. Right. Frankie, nice to see you. I'm going to wave at you too. This is a new little thing that I've noticed on Facebook Lives where I can wave at people, which is awesome. Okay, so let me have your questions. Let's have your questions if you have any. Or maybe you've all done everything, all your documents are in place, you've got it all sorted, you're fully compliant, and in which case, a massive pat on the back to you. I don't know if you saw that amazing comment from one of the members who'd bought the pack, and I've been saying since I started the group really that if people do GDPR well, it can be a huge competitive advantage. And there was a lovely post in the group this morning where that had indeed happened, and a big client had said to him, we're so impressed with all of your documents as far as GDPR is concerned. We don't need you to do anything else. It's they said how impressed they were with him, and so that's an example of the competitive advantage being played out there. So well done to him. Right, any questions? I mean, we can just have a nice chat here. It's a Monday, the sun's out. We can have a nice chat, but I am here to answer your questions, so don't hold back. If you have any questions about the pack or GDPR. Now, I am going to be doing a video about the key question at the moment for a lot of people, which is, I imagine, help, I asked my list to reconsent and I've lost 8% of my list. What can I do? And I have some very good answers for that, but I'm going to do that as a separate training. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you know any people who are in that position, maybe they've not been in my group and they've taken some not brilliant advice and they've gone out and got consent or asked for consent when they didn't need it, or they just didn't do it properly and people haven't opted back in, then point them in the direction of the Facebook group, because I'm going to be doing a great training on that. Right, still no questions. Come on, guys, come on. Let's get these questions in, or it's going to be super short and I shall go back to working on my next presentation. Any questions? Dun, dun, dun. No, you're just joining me to hang out for a bit of a chat on a Monday afternoon. Okay, well, I'm going to do a 10-second countdown, and if I don't see a question, I'm going to end it. That'll be the shortest Facebook Live ever. I think maybe I need to, when people ask a question in the group, I'm going to direct them to the Q&As instead. Ben, yes, you can. Of course, you can ask a general question. That's absolutely fine. Ask away. This is for questions on the pack or general questions that you have if you've bought the pack, if you see what I mean. So yeah, absolutely ask away. I'll give you a few seconds while you type that in. Meantime, anyone else who's watching, pop your question in the chat box and I shall be delighted to answer that for you. So it's going to be a test of Bent's typing skills here and how long he takes to post the question, or indeed how long the question actually is. So we'll give him a few minutes to do that. But in the meantime, let me know what you're up to. What are you doing today? It's beautiful weather here. It was miserable this morning when I wanted to take the dog for a walk, typically. Now it's gorgeous weather here, so I might go and sit outside and have some lunch in a bit. What are you up to? Pop me a little note if you're doing something really exciting. And Bent, come on, choppy choppy, chop chop with your typing. Well, she'll have to start singing if nobody pops me a little message in the chat box. Tell me what you're up to. Tina, what are you up to? Let me know. Frankie, what are you up to? Carrie, what are you up to? Aha, right, we have the question. Okay. Okay, so this is a question about the data processor agreement and the I guess the standard contractual clauses, if that's what you mean by the EU clauses. So can the standard contractual clauses be included in the data processor agreement, or should it be a separate document signed? Yes, it should be a separate signed document, Ben. You're not allowed to make any changes to the standard contractual clauses. That's what it says. So yeah, it has to be a standalone document. Hi Paula. Hope the theatre was good. Let us know how your theatre was on Friday. I was very excited for you for that. So Ben, in answer to your question, it needs to be the standard contractual clauses need to be a standalone, separate document that is signed. Yes. Okay. Any more questions? Otherwise, this is going to be the shortest Q&A ever. Paula says the theatre was amazing. Good. Remind me what it was, Paula, so I can put that on my list of things to go see. I really want to go and see Hamilton. I was in New York a couple of years ago and we were all going to go in as part of a mastermind group and we were all going to go and see it, but it was like $1,000 a ticket and then we couldn't get enough for the group, so we didn't go. Deleting data. I'm sure that's not what the theatre was called, Paula. Deleting data, question mark. Yes, so you missed the bit, Paula, where I'm going to do a more formal training for people who are at the point of, maybe they sent out a reconsent email and didn't get many sign-ups. Do they need to delete the data? I'm going to do a separate special training on that because that's something that I think a lot of people would be very interested in. So I'm literally going to record that this afternoon. So I'm hoping that it can be, we'll be getting it out tomorrow or at the very least Wednesday. Paula went to see Stardust at Streatham. Oh, not heard of that, but jolly good. Right, Bent says, so the vendor cannot just mention standard contractual clauses in a link in the DPA. Many do. Oh. Let me find my... what's the best place to look? Can you give me an example of that, please, Ben? That would be handy. Now, let me have a quick Google here. Standard contractual clauses. Okay, so you definitely can't, so I know you definitely can't change the clauses, but this is just making me think a little bit more about whether it could be incorporated into another contract. So I guess they're not just referring you to the link, Bent, are they? They must be in some way trying to incorporate that into their contract. But if you can send me or post in the group, Bent, a link to the ones that you've seen, I'll look at how they've structured that and comment on that. But you can't change the terms. But send me the examples and I'll see how they've done that. Okay, but I think certainly best practice is to have them signed as a separate document. So send me a link to what people have done and I shall comment. Okay, Kezia, lovely name. Kezia or Kezia. I have a question about the data of contact people. If their data, name and email, etc., is included in agreements, should we give them information from Article 14, i.e. the stuff that goes in the privacy notice? Contact people. So this is where they're an employee of the organisation where you're signing a services agreement or something like that, and there's a contact of an individual in the contract. So the employee, that's a really good question actually. So the employee, does the employee as an individual need the separate privacy notice? Good question. My instinct is to say no, that you'll be advising all of your clients or suppliers, whichever way. I don't know if you're the client or the supplier in that case. You'll obviously be notifying them of your privacy notice. Whether you'd need to give that to an individual or not, I think the answer is no, but I'll pop that on the list to give a definitive view on. 22, employee named in contract. Good question. Thank you for that, Kezia. Right, Laura says, I am trying to complete my data processor inventory. I'm a web developer and work with some clients where I have cloned site of their website on my personal computer. I understand that I process personal data in that regard and store it on my computer, and I also have backups of their sites on Dropbox in some cases. Other than those two places, I also have access to their servers, and I'm unclear on what that means in regard to this. I know I have responsibility by having access and will address this in the DPA, but would this need to be included in my data inventory? I would think not, since these servers are contracted between my... No, you wouldn't need to put the client's, your client's data in your data inventory. So the data inventory is just for where you're the data controller. Okay, so yes, you are correct. You don't need to do that. All right, hello Andy, I'm going to wave to you. Paula says, sorry, meant to PM me that link for the Stardust. Please do. Please PM it as well, Paula, because I won't be able to pick the link up from here. Fab. Okay. Any more questions? So, Kezia, I'm going to get back to you on your question. And Bent, I'm going to have a look at the way that you've seen that your vendors are incorporating the standard contractual clauses and give you a view on that too. So thank you for some, even though there's only 3 questions, a couple of them, really great questions. So thank you very much. Okay, so any other questions before we... yes, Laura, absolutely. Ask a follow-up. That's absolutely fine. Super duper. I thought at one point, after I think I came on and waited 5 minutes before the first question, I thought it was going to be the first Q&A without any questions at all. So I'm very pleased to answer a follow-up for you, Laura. If I didn't have a cloned site or backups on Dropbox, would I need to have a DPA at all? Yes. If you are managing websites for people, Laura, then yes, you would need to. Amanda says, do we need a specific privacy policy for our Facebook pages? I did a video on this, Amanda, in light of the recent ECJ ruling. about Facebook page administrators sharing responsibility with Facebook and being joint controllers. Yes, okay. So you're aware of that. And do we need to put it on a privacy policy on our Facebook pages? It can't hurt, can it? So if you've got one already, then yes, pop it on there. I mean, it's unclear from the ruling as to whether that you need to do that or not. The ruling goes back to 2011 when Facebook didn't have a privacy policy at all in place, or it certainly wasn't adequate. Whereas now, Facebook's just done a massive campaign and pushed out privacy notices to everybody. It's much hotter on data protection than it was. I don't think it's not clear as to what we need to do as a result of that. And also, the data, the privacy policy needs to be provided at the point of collection of the data. So, arguably that is when they're signing up with Facebook and when they're entering data, relevant data into Facebook. But it can't hurt. So if you're a cautious type, then pop it up there. If you're not, then you'll probably be absolutely fine. Okay, any final questions before I go and have my lunch in the sunshine? Any more for any more? Like being on the market stall. Any more for any more? Hello, Rena. Good to see you, Rena. I'm going to wave at you. There you go. Have a wave. Any questions? Any more questions, Rena? Any more questions? We're just about to call it a day. But if you've got a question, then get in quick. Lucy wants to be in my video. Fine, let's try this then, Lucy. Hello, David Starr, nice to see you. I'm going to approve this and see what happens. Hey, I suspect that was a mistake. That was in error. Oh, she declined it. I was getting a bit excited then. Okay, Bent says the privacy policy on our Facebook. Can we use the one in the pack? Yes. Well, as amended for your business, but yes. David Starr with a double R. What a brilliant name. That's like a fame name, isn't it? David, is that your real name or did you change that? Because I want a name like that. David Starr. Do you know Jasmine Starr? Jasmine's phenomenal. She was in a mastermind group that I was in and I love her to bits. And she's got this amazing logo for her name, Starr. And she's just so effortlessly cool. And I think if I could change my name, it would be to Starr, Suzanne Starr. But you see, even that doesn't sound right, does it? But yes, love your famous sounding name there, David. Right, any final questions so I don't have to keep the monologue up? Any final questions? Last calls for questions. Oh, just snuck in there. Stephen says, the GDPR policy for employees, I guess this is required for those on 0-hour contracts too. Yep, if you've got their personal details, which I'm guessing you have, and it's you're processing personal data, then yes, is the answer there. Okay, any final questions? Nope. Okie dokie. Right then. I think then that is it. So thanks very much for joining me. Very, very short and snappy Q&A there. Enjoy your week and well done on all the work that you've done so far. And I will be keeping you updated with, certainly it'll be interesting to see the ICO's response to the Dixon's, Carphone Dixon's data breach. So that's one thing I'm keeping an eye on. I'm obviously also keeping an eye on the Facebook page administrator case that's going through the courts at the moment, and I think there's a couple of bits of updated guidance that are coming out, which I'll update the group on as well. And as I say, I think the next key thing for people is this issue of what do you do with people who haven't re-opted in to your marketing list, and I'm going to be doing a very special training on that will be coming out either tomorrow or Wednesday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, chaps and chapesses, thanks for your questions, and I will see you very soon. Take care.